Rose and Joy had a good relationship and they have been in love for over 6 years. Rose is a good-looking girl with an Irish descent while Joy is tall, bald, handsome, and profound in each of his every word. Joy is known to be very punctual and no nonsense in every action that he takes. They both met in law school. After graduating they were still in love with each other. Rose and Joy always knew how to fulfill each other's needs even through the dark days. They planned to get married as soon as possible since they couldn't wait for it too long. After they got married they lived in an apartment located in the middle of the city. Joy received an offer to work as an attorney in a law firm. Joy refused to let Rose work on her own since Joy wanted the best for their future kids. Rose agreed and she would follow everything that her husband said even though both of them were planning not to have kids yet until they gained stability. It was Joy's first day working as an attorney in his new law firm. Both of them woke up early and Rose prepared breakfast for her husband. Rose was very excited for Joy and gave him an enormous amount of support. Joy felt very grateful to have such a beautiful and supportive wife in his life. After Joy left for work, Rose planned to go out to town to do some groceries. It was busy in town just like any other ordinary day with crowds all over the place. Rose didn't want to spend too much time so she quickly bought all she needed and went back home. When she reached home she realized that she must have dropped the house key somewhere. Rose retraced her path and attentively looked for the key. She thought it must be somewhere around the grocery store and luckily she found it later. Rose felt very tired and decided to rest on the bench placed opposite of a men's barbershop. The barbershop was empty with no customers but there was a huge pile of long hair around the floor. Rose thought there must have been a customer earlier that morning. After that David, the barber, showed up. He was very tall with a beard and looked to be around 41. Rose wanted to leave the place but suddenly she saw a woman with hair reaching her shoulder, around her age, enter the barbershop. Rose felt intrigued and wanted to know what a woman would do in a barbershop. It was getting late and Rose couldn't stay there for too long so she decided to go home. Later that night, Joy and Rose sat at the table for dinner, having a few conversations. Rose, how was your first day at work? Honey. Joy, it's all good plus I met my old friend Howard from high school. Let's not talk about me. What did you do today, honey? Rose, that must have been one hell of a reunion, babe. I just went to town for some groceries. Unfortunately, when I reached home the key was missing, but I found it. Joy, that must have been terrible, but are you okay? You look weary. Rose, I'm fine, baby, just need to sleep with you tonight. Joy, okay, baby. Rose went to the bathroom to brush her teeth but couldn't stop thinking about the woman in the barbershop. She ignored what was playing on her mind and rushed to bed. Both of them lay on the bed and kissed passionately. Joy grabbed her hair and said she was so beautiful that night, probably the last time Joy would get to touch his wife's long hair. They went on romantically and began to make love. Light shut off. It was Joy's second day serving as an attorney at his law firm. As usual, Rose fixed him breakfast and they kissed before Joy left for work. After Joy left, Rose went to the bedroom to clean and tidy the place. While cleaning the table she accidentally stood in front of the mirror. She sat down and looked at her reflection, her thick brunette hair almost reaching her waist. She had never cut it short in her lifetime, only trimmed. After a long period of thinking, she had an idea. Maybe she could find a salon today to trim her hair since she hadn't done it in a long time. Rose dressed up, put her hair into a ponytail, and left the house for a walk into town. She walked slowly, looking for a perfect salon to trim her hair. There were many salons, but they were all full of people. Rose didn't want to give up. Finally, she found a place called Hair Galaxy that was empty. Rose entered and waited in the waiting area. The owner, a woman, said Rose would have to wait because she had something else to do, and Rose agreed. Nearly an hour later, Rose grew bored and stepped outside for some air, spotting the same barber shop she saw yesterday nearby. It was empty again, but clean this time, no piles of hair on the floor. Rose felt butterflies in her stomach. She wanted something different but was afraid to admit it. The salon owner returned, but Rose lied, saying she couldn't do it today due to a personal matter, and left. She stepped hesitantly toward the barber shop and slowly opened the door. David, hello, lady, how can I help you? Rose, I know this is a bit peculiar, but can I ask you something? David, anything you want in the world. Rose, I saw a woman come here yesterday, and I wondered what she was doing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to intrude, I'm just curious. Laughs. David laughs louder. She came here to get her haircut. Rose, so you cut women's hair here? David, yes, but not the type you usually get in a salon. Laughs. Rose felt a mix of anxiety and ecstasy. She told herself she was already there, why not just get a trim? David, how can I help you, lady? You want me to cut off all your beautiful long brunette hair? Laughs. Rose, no. I just wonder if I could get a trim, that would be enough. Could you? David, anything for you, young lady. Smiling. Rose walked to the barber chair, nervous. David caped her and released her ponytail. Her body tingled. She had a hair fetish since childhood, kept secret all her life. She wanted a man, especially a barber, who could use her hair in an intimate way. But she still loved Joy more than anything. David, you sure you only want a trim? Rose, yes. David, okay, that will do. David began trimming her hair. Rose, cut it shorter. David, I'm sorry, what are you saying? Rose, I said cut it shorter. David, I can hear you, honey, but really how short? Rose, cut it till it's above my shoulder, but use the clippers. David didn't answer, just picked up his scissors. Snip, snip, snip. Rose's hair was now mid-length when she spoke again. Rose, why are you using scissors? I said the clippers. David didn't respond, but lifted a large wall clipper. David, I guess I need to teach you a lesson, beautiful lady. The clippers roared. He placed them below her ear and cut much shorter than she had asked. Rose, that's very short. She had never gone this short before. This was her wildest dream. She couldn't help herself and began touching herself discreetly. David, I know what you're doing down there. Rose, I'm sorry, but I did nothing. Trying to hide it. David, I know a lot of women with a hair fetish. You don't need to be shy. Rose, yes, I do, but I'm scared to share it with anybody, even my husband. I secretly want a barber who shares my fetish too. David, well explained, honey. I think I can take care of it. David walked to the door, flipped the sign to closed, and pulled down the blinds. David's fingers gripped the back of the chair, his shadow looming over her in the mirror. The clippers roared again, louder this time, their metallic hum filling the small shop. Rose sat frozen, eyes locked on her own reflection. The woman she saw looked both terrified and exhilarated, a stranger with uneven tufts and bare skin beginning to show along the nape. Above the shoulders, you said, David murmured, sliding the clippers higher. But I think you want something cleaner. Her breath caught as cold steel touched her neck. Hair cascaded in thick, heavy strands onto the cape, sliding to the floor in dark waves. Stop me if you want, he said flatly, not pausing. Rose didn't answer. She couldn't. Her hands gripped the armrests, knuckles pale. The shop smelled faintly of machine oil and talc. Each pass of the clippers left her lighter, more exposed. She could feel the air on her scalp where no air had touched before. When David finally clicked the clippers off, the silence was deafening. He brushed away the last clinging strands and tilted the chair so she could see the floor, a dark, tangled ocean of what used to be hers. "You carry yourself different now," he said. "Less hiding. More truth." Rose stared at her reflection. It was sharp, alien, but powerful. She felt something shift inside, a secret long buried now lived in plain sight. David stepped back, arms folded. "So, do you walk out with this, or do we take it all?" Rose met David's gaze in the mirror. Her mouth opened, then closed. "All," she said quietly. He didn't smirk. He didn't speak. Instead, David reached beneath the counter and produced a second set of clippers, heavier, older, their chrome casing dulled with time. He oiled the blades with deliberate precision. "Sit back," he instructed. The machine came alive with a deep, resonant hum, different from before, slower, more final. He placed a broad hand on the crown of her head and tilted it forward. The first pass was from forehead to nape. She felt the vibration against her skull, the clippers biting through the last of her hair in a single unbroken path. A wide pale strip appeared instantly, contrasting starkly with the dark shorn sides. Hair fell in thick ribbons, piling onto her lap before sliding to the floor. Again. And again. Front to back, the machine carved away the woman she had been for years. No sound now except the low buzz and the soft patter of hair landing. When the final pass left her scalp bare, David switched the clippers off. The shop was silent except for her own breathing. From a small jar, he scooped a faintly fragrant paste and rubbed it slowly across her head. "Neem and sandalwood," he said. "So the skin remembers, not the hair." Rose's eyes stayed locked on the mirror. She didn't look fragile. She didn't look ashamed. She looked like someone reborn under fluorescent light. David stood back, letting the moment settle. "No one forgets their first full shave," he said. "But it's not just about losing hair. It's about seeing what's underneath." Rose slid her hands over her scalp, feeling the unfamiliar smoothness. When she finally rose from the chair, her steps were steady. She didn't glance at the floor, she didn't need to. Rose walked the familiar street back to the apartment, the late afternoon heat pressing down like a weight. Her scalp still tingled beneath the thin film of sandalwood. Inside, the apartment was dim. Joy was already home, his jacket slung over the back of a chair. He was pouring himself a glass of water when he saw her. The glass stopped halfway to his lips. "What happened to you?" Rose didn't flinch. "I got a haircut." "That's not a haircut," he said, stepping forward. His voice wasn't raised, it was tight, measured. "That's everything gone." Rose brushed past him, placing her keys on the table. "Maybe I was carrying too much weight." He followed. "You should have told me." She turned then, finally meeting his eyes. "You never asked." The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut skin. Joy looked at her, really looked, and for the first time in their years together, seemed unsure of who she was. "You look different," he said. "I am different," she replied. Her hand went to her scalp again, slow, deliberate, almost like a gesture of possession. "This was mine. Now it's gone. And I'm still here." Joy's gaze dropped, just briefly, to the faint smudge of sandalwood at her temple. Something in his jaw tightened, a flicker of unease, maybe even intimidation. Rose stepped closer, her voice low. "You've been building your future in that law firm. I've been building mine, too." She walked past him toward the bedroom. The sound of her bare feet on the floor was the only noise in the apartment. Joy stayed rooted in place, still holding the untouched glass of water. The image of her bald, composed, untouchable would not leave him. Somewhere inside him, he knew, the balance had shifted. And he wasn't the one holding the scissors anymore.